The Heat and the Fury is the first from-the-ground exploration of how climate change is contributing to violence in different parts of the world. And there's a few key takeaways that I hope readers will get from it. And to be very clear, it is meant for the average man or woman on the street. It's written in a way that I hope is. But the first point is that we are systematically underestimating the amount of violence that is related to climate change. And we are doing that, to my mind, and off the back of 10, 11, 12 years worth of ground reporting, because we are not adequately taking into account how climate change is acting on other drivers of instability, such as corruption, such as inequality, such as misinformation. And were we to do so, then we would have a much better picture of the nature as well as the extent of climate's violent contribution. I also argued that there are increasingly few forms of violence out there, big or small, that don't have some sort of climate component. It's not necessarily a big one. It can sometimes be a relatively tangential one. But from these big headline-grabbing conflicts in Gaza through to Sudan, through to Ukraine, there's almost always some kind of climate link. And then most importantly, I mean, without setting out to write a book about water, I ended up sort of inadvertently doing so. I mean, in the words of J. Famiglietti, water is the messenger by which climate change comes to your door of your community, to the proverbial doorstep of your nation state. And so almost every one of these chapters, if not every single one, is in some way looking at the ways in which communities are having too little water, too much water, or more particularly water that is simply coming at the wrong time. I mean, as I and so many others have discovered, it's the unpredictability that climate change brings that is in many, if not most instances, more violence spinning and more complicating than the absolute shortages that it inflicts from time to time. Anyway, I would be tremendously grateful were you to read the book to find out much more. The Heat and the Fury is the first